Hello and Namaste. We left the plot at a point where Neo is captured by the agents and warned about Morpheus. Agents are all the things in the world of Maya which prevent our spiritual progress. How do the agents of the world prevent a seeker from pursuing his goal? They do it by planting bugs in him. These bugs take the form of desire for worldly things, anger when we cannot get what we want, greed for things that we desire, delusion that the things that we desire will give us happiness, arrogance when we succeed, and jealousy when we don't. These are the 6 bugs which agents plant in our system and keep us from pursuing liberation. Desire, anger, greed, delusion, arrogance, and jealousy, or Arishad Varga as they are called in Vedanta. Once these bugs occupy our mind, there is no room for spiritual progress. If the seeker has to achieve anything at all, he has to get rid of these bugs. If he fails to do so, he will not only be a danger for himself, but all his fellow seekers. That is what we see in the character of Cypher. Although he knows that the matrix is an illusion, he still desires it. As a result, he is willing to betray everyone. There is a telling dialogue in the movie when Cypher meets the agents over dinner.
I know this steak doesn't exist. The Matrix is telling my brain that it is juicy and delicious. You know what I realize? Ignorance is bliss.
This is what an unprepared mind can do. It can make you believe that bondage and delusion is better than knowledge and liberation. That is why the first thing Trinity does when she meets Neo is try to extract the bug agents have planted in him. Neo was not even aware that he had these bugs within him. If you trust God, she will cleanse you of all the bugs in your system. She will stop you from giving up your quest and lead you to a guru. That is exactly what Trinity does for Neo. Please do watch my post on Trinity for a more detailed explanation. Trinity, the goddess, takes Neo the seeker to Morpheus, the guru. To me personally, this first encounter between Neo and Morpheus is the most important scene in the movie. Almost every sentence of that conversation felt like it was taken from some Vedantic text. I could recall verses from Upanishads and Gita as I watched this scene unfold. I have referenced this conversation in most of my previous posts, yet a lot more remains to be said about this scene. Morpheus tells Neo, "Let me tell you why you are here, Neo."
You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad.
One can imagine this is what Buddha must have felt when he decided to give up his life and embark on his quest. I'm sure his questions must have felt like a splinter in his mind. How else would he have left his princely life, his wife and young son, and embark on his quest for liberation?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
The Matrix.
Do you want to know what it is?
Kenopanishad begins with a question. What activates our mind? What is the mind of the mind? What is behind the mind? What is behind our senses activating them? In Mundakopanishad, the student asks an even more profound question. What is that by knowing which everything else is as good as known? Neo's question to Morpheus seems to be a cryptic version of these questions. If we were playing a game of Jeopardy, the answer to both these questions would be, what is Maya? What is the Matrix?
It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. That you are a slave, Neo, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
This is the definition of Maya. According to Vedanta, Maya has two powers. The first power is Avarana Shakti. Avarana literally means covering. It covers your eyes. It pulls the world over your eyes, as Morpheus explains. Its second power is Vikshepa Shakti, which deludes you into believing this imaginary body, mind and intellect, which the matrix has projected, is the real you, and the world that you are living in is the real world. These two powers of Maya creates your bondage and makes you a slave. It binds you to this world of illusion. This bondage is in your mind. It is an intellectual problem that can only be solved in the mind. This is the actual definition of Maya from a Vedantic text called Viveka Chudamani. Can you see how even the language is so similar to Vedanta?
Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
This is another important proclamation of Vedanta. You can never really explain what Maya is. Maya is described in Vedanta as Anirvachaniyam Adbhutam, something so incredible that it is beyond the grasp of words. Only a guru who himself is liberated can show you what it is. While anyone can learn the subject matter and explain the theory to others, like I am doing right now, only a liberated soul can show you the truth. That is why a guru is not just a teacher. He is described in Vedanta as Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita Maha Vyamoha Samharini, the one who destroys this terrible delusion caused by the power of Maya.
You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Morpheus gives Neo a choice between two paths. This is also a common Vedantic analogy. I have explained this in detail in my post on Neo. Neo chooses the red pill, the path of liberation. Next, you see Neo waking up in a pod, being unplugged from the matrix and emerging into the real world.
Now.
This is a reference to sannyasa, the act of giving up the world of Maya. Let me point out the clues to you. Neo's clean-shaven head and nudity are symbols of an ascetic. You can also see the process of disconnecting from the world of Maya is very difficult and painful. It's a near-death experience. Neo emerging from what appears to be a womb is a reference to being born again. When you take up sannyasa, you give up your old life, including your name. You perform your own last rites. You emerge into a new life. This sequence is symbolically represented in this scene. With this, Neo completes the first stage of liberation. Remember, in my previous post, I spoke about 3 stages to liberation. The first stage is knowing that this world is an illusion. We will see how the movie depicts the subsequent 2 stages of liberation in my next post. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and press the bell icon for reminders. As always, I request you to like and share this post with your friends. Looking forward to your thoughts and interpretations. Until next time, Namaste.